Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live show from the Rick's Tech Pub. Um, it is 2 o'clock, so I am barely making it here on time as usual. And again, um, trying to get 100 things done in less than 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, and looking at the time and looking at the clock, and I said, okay, I'm gonna have to ditch everything and just get to my live stream, and I'll deal with everything else later. Hey, Charlie. Hello, yes. Oh, How am I doing? Hmm. How am I doing? That's a good question. Well, after the shenanigans with my mom, um, she apparently took it upon herself to read up on the internet. I'm trying to get something to disappear. Okay, whatever that is. She took it upon herself to do some investigating because she's constantly worried about the processes of everything. She went on the internet, and I don't know how she worded the question, but I guess she was asking, is there a problem, or should there be any concerns between having my hernia surgery and lower lumbar cortisone injection shot in my lower back? And apparently AI told her that there is a risk of infection. Um, so my mom, wanting things to be right, and I don't think she should have interfered, but she did. Um, her and I kind of had an unpleasant conversation, and she said that I told her, even though she disagrees, um, I told her I'd rather have my hernia surgery and put off the back. I mean, both of them are kind of, even though now my surgeon is saying the hernia surgery isn't critical, but to what the nurse and the doctors at the hospital told me, they said the sooner the better. Because it's an incarcerated hernia, whatever that means. Um, so yeah, she had things rescheduled to her liking. So now I am getting my injection shot in my back at the end of August instead of 2 weeks after my hernia surgery. My hernia surgery is July 17th. So 2 weeks from then, I was gonna go down to the cities and get my injection shot, but I guess that's not happening now until the end of August. So I hope I don't have any serious problems with my back, with muscle spasms, because the doctors had already told my mom they're not going to put me on the medication I just got off of to deal with back pain. They said I'm kind of stuck with it, which is kind of a shitty, rotten thing to do, but that's what they're going to do because my mom asked her, are you going to put him on medication? And they said no. He'll just have to live with his condition until he gets down to the cities. So nothing wrong at the moment. My hernia is a little bit more of a problem than my back. I think they took care of the back problem for now. I hope. Because if this flares up to be a big problem here in a couple of weeks, in 2 or 3 weeks, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. But I am in medication for the muscle spasms, and I'm going to be now on another medication for um um oh, I don't know what it's called, but it's Well, just for my back and my hernia surgery. Hernia surgery is still on schedule, but my hopefully I get my back injection at the end of August. I don't know. That was never confirmed if I'm going to have it or not, but she was thinking it'd be the end of August. Um, hey, Ken. Nice to see you again. Hello, John. So that's it as far as me and the medical stuff. Um, some other things I need to touch up on. Just some basic stuff from Windows. You know, the Windows updates and the shenanigans they can cause, if any. When Brightech 09 is now saying you can get 25H2 now. I didn't bother watching the video because I think it's kind of ridiculous. Getting 25H2 today is like taking a cake out of the oven before it's fully cooked. And then that's to me it's stupid. I mean, I can't stop you, but if you people want to play with 25H2, you can. My recommendation right now is that you probably shouldn't. That to me, against other people's popular belief, um, I don't think. Well, I think Kerry would agree with me on this. I think maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he said you should go and play with 25H2. I don't know. My opinion is to just kind of leave it alone. um, Patch Tuesday has a few known issues. Google Chrome in the weekly update with minor changes but no security fixes. That was an update from 2 days ago. So that's interesting that they had no security fixes this time. That's kind of interesting. They had no security fixes. Yeah, John, they're gonna use mesh on mine too, but a friend of mine last night asked me to ask the surgeon if the if the mesh they are using on me or will be using on me has been recalled, because there's a series of mesh kits the hospitals are getting, and a lot of them are being recalled because of flaws. You know, my friend Jackie used to work at the hospital and other medical places. So her concern was just to ask. It may not be an issue, but she said I would ask your doctor if the mesh they're going to use is not on the recall list. Apparently, there's quite a few of them that are on the recall list this year. I don't know about when you had yours, John, but um, I don't know. I don't know what kind of mesh they use, and that's the first thing that um, she was kind of bent over, kind of picking things up off the floor. When I told her the mesh, she immediately straightened up and she says, I would immediately ask your surgeon if that mesh that they're going to use on you is not on the recall list. There are several that are on the recall list. So today or tomorrow, I'll be asking my surgeon if there's any truth to that. You would think they'd know these kind of things, but she said that doctors are in there are at it for a business. They're there to make money, so whether it kills me or not, they're going to use whatever mesh is available. Just like the house they're living in. The house is someday gonna split in half, or just the one side of it's gonna fall off because there's a big, huge, wide crack in the side of her house. And unfortunately, if Jack and Brett and their kids ever move out of their house or get kicked out, I don't think they will. She's not going to have the house fixed. She said, sadly, business is business, and she's going to re-rent it without fixing it. Well, I think doctors are kind of the same way. If they know there's a known cause with mesh or something, business is business, and if it's going to cause an issue, they want their money, they're going to use that mesh anyway. So I hope I don't have any problems, but I am going to write my surgeon a letter because I have him on my chart. It's just a general question. It was brought up to me that some of these meshes, there's quite a few that are there on the recall list. So, I mean, I didn't get all frantically panicked about it. I'll ask my doctor in good faith if there's any known issues with the mesh you're going to use. He'll probably tell me no, just to kind of shut me up. They're not good at telling the truth around here. Um, he'll say, well, no, I don't see any reason to be concerned about that, when actually he should probably take a second look at it and do his research. They won't. They'll just say, yeah, there's no problem, and use it, and then a couple of days or a month later or 2 weeks, whenever I go back in the hospital with a big, huge blown up belly and a big, huge wide infection and turning black and blue and swollen, and I don't think that'll happen, but it's a good question to ask just to. Well, the ones up here are, Jeff. They don't put a lot of faith in surgeons. But yeah, so there's good ones out there, but and I'm sure this one's not all in for the money. But I know there's been surgeons that have been fired from our hospital for doing things or saying things that they shouldn't have, or they waited too long, and then the family decided to sue that doctor. There have been doctors that have been sued up here, but I don't care of it too much of it anymore. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. I'll just see what the surgeon says, and if he has no problem with it, then I hope he's right. I don't want any serious problems out of this. Um, then another issue I'm having is while going to the bathroom and taking number two, I am also bleeding. Not bad, but there is blood mixed in with it, so I wrote my doctor and a different doctor about that situation, and he's gonna put me on I don't know, I forget the medication he's gonna put me on. But again, I asked him with that medication, and I've been on it before. Um, I asked him, will that interfere with my hernia surgery or the lower lumbar injection cortisone shot that I'm gonna get at the end of August? Is that gonna cause a problem with either one? I needed to know that because my mom's gonna read that, and she's gonna panic, and she's, oh my god, now Rick's bleeding again. Like, yeah, it happens. I just get on medication, and 2 or 3 days later it stops, and they have me on it for a little over a month. Then it stops for a month or two, and then it starts up again, and he puts me back on the medication. I'm not too worried about it. Um, I've been on that medication; it works good. So, hello, Jack of all trades. You popped into me and my friend's algorithm. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I've got a lot of health issues going on right now. Um, More than I want to be dealing with. Um, I don't like dealing with all these health issues, but it is kind of keeping me pinned at home. Well, not pinned at home. I could go for a bike ride, but um, doctors don't want me doing anything really strenuous to aggravate the hernia. And I was over at Jackie's last night, kind of bending over and doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing, but and she did see that I was having problems, so she gave me a short stool thing to sit on. I was wiping something down, one of the kids' playhouse, dollhouse, or whatever it was. Um, and I was having to bend over like this and clean the bottom floor. Ouch. Yeah, that right there is what I shouldn't be doing. But I was lower. I was lower to the floor, and I didn't have to bend over as far. But um, I gotta start taking it more easy. You know, the closer I get to my surgery date, I really need to kind of not do anything and just take it easy, which is not easy for me to do. I know I knew that's what I need to do, but I'm not one for just sitting or laying around all day waiting for a surgery. But that's kind of what the doctors are asking me to do. Excuse me, I gotta reset something. Reset. I gotta clean the filter on my air conditioner. The red light's blinking. And I turned it off. Uh, Anything else going on? The problem I was having with my elbow being really sore, like I broke something in here, that seems to have temporarily disappeared. This whole elbow area seems to have some kind of a major problem. It's like right now I'm feeling it. Yeah. There's something popping in there when I straighten out my arm. It's right here. It's kind of, I don't know what it is, but the bump to it is right there. I know you guys can't see it, but there is a big kind of a bump right there that shouldn't be there. I haven't had it looked into it yet. I probably should, but no, I don't. I don't want to add another thing to the list. I've got enough going on. They don't need to worry about my elbow. The thing when I come back from my injection shot, lower lumbar injection shot, um, I'll wait a week and then I'll write my doctor another note, and I'll say, being that we got all that stuff done, the hernia repair, the lower lumbar injection, now I need you to take a look at my right elbow because there's something clearly not right with it. It's from when I fell a couple years ago. Um, I was on my bike and going down the hill, and I don't know, I hit dry ice or something because all of a sudden I was riding, I just went boom, down I went and landed on this part of my elbow. I just cracked it into the pavement. You know, that was a couple years ago. It didn't bother me till this winter, back in January, February. I was like, yeah, I should probably get that looked at. It's reminding me I should have went to the, but it wasn't bothering me. Didn't swell up, didn't hurt for months, years. Now all of a sudden, it could be related to something else. I don't know, but I'm guessing it's from that fall that I took. And that fall that I took is now catching up with me, almost 2 years later. Oh, guys in Minnesota. Oh yes, yeah, we have ice in Minnesota. Although I have to give credit to the road crews. They really, even though my mom's in a hard panic about it, they're doing a little bit better on the road treatment around here in the winter. They just don't treat the sidewalks. And I thought I was okay, but you can't see black ice. And that's what I must have hit because I thought I was on tar, and all of a sudden, boom, down I went. I mean, I went down. I think I got up off the ground faster than I fell. Because the second I fell, I was right back standing up on my feet and looking at the cars going by, and they're like, "Yeah, he just fell." No, shut up. Yeah, I fell down, but as soon as I fell, I got right back up because I was hoping nobody's seen me. And here comes a car right past me. They're looking at me like, "What's wrong with you? Like, haven't you ever seen someone fall off a bike?" I mean, it happened pretty quick. I mean, I was just riding and I started skidding, and all of a sudden I just boom, down I went. Well, my elbow is starting to remind me of that. Yeah, we used to have, at least in this town, we used to have serious problems with ice. We get the thick ice, it starts out as sleet, and once the temperature falls below 32, you get a thin layer of ice. And what was it? 5 years ago, they were having serious problems with getting rid of the ice because it got so thick that they actually take a roller hammer and they had to roll it down the road to try to break up that thick ice. That was about, I'm not kidding you, the ice was about maybe that thick. It was thick. It was a lot thicker, and they were trying to break it up because the salt wasn't affecting it, besides putting little divots in it. So they tried taking a grinder or hammer or something to it, some kind of grinder to kind of break up the ice. That didn't work. So I don't know how they resolved the problem. I forget, but they had warnings all over this town. Warning: ice, dangerous ice. Be careful. They're telling people to slow down to at least 10 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour going across the bridge. Because that was one of the major problems at the bridge that I see out my window is the ice had accumulated and got really thick. And the county roads were also having problems with thick ice. Because we had bad ice many years ago, and that was not fun. Um, until some of those problems were fixed that winter, I didn't go out a lot. Because there was warnings in the newspaper about the ice and how they tried to remedy it, and nothing they were throwing at it was fixing it. So, or getting rid of the ice, melting it, or whatever. So they took a, I don't know what they did, some kind of a something they ran up and down the road to try to break up the ice, and then put salt over it. Well, that worked, but to a minimum. I think they eventually did get rid of it, and traffic was back to normal. But for about 7, 8, maybe 9 days, there was warnings on all the roads that dangerous thick ice on roads, and it was in the newspaper that they were trying to combat that with everything they had, and nothing was working. Nothing really bad since then. We've had ice, but nothing the city can't take care of. Oh, jack of all trades, it's gonna get better. Yeah, it's gonna get better. I've just got to deal with one issue at a time. My mom and I had a not really a bad argument, but she hung up on me because for one thing, she was taking her faith in AI. I guess she can do that, but I don't know if the doctors would agree with that. That there's a series. I don't know. She's having my local doctor talk to the doctor in the cities. Um, and she left them each their number. So that doctor is going to call my doctor, or my doctor is going to call down to the cities just to see if there's going to be any conflicts with that. Simply because she asked them to. She didn't give them a choice. She said, "Here's their number. You will call them." There was no please call them. There was no could you please call them. She said, "You will be calling that doctor because I need to know if he's going to run into problems with him having the hernia surgery and then 2 weeks later going and having the lower lumbar injection shot." Which then after that she took it upon herself to, well, she did. I don't think she took it upon herself, or maybe she did. I think she called the Maple Grove Clinic and had this. She had it rescheduled till the end of August because she just couldn't get it out of her head that was bothering, it was bugging her. So she called Maple Grove, and Maple Grove said, "Well, we have an open appointment at the end of August," and that's a month. That'll be a month apart from each other instead of a couple of weeks. My mom didn't like that idea, so she called Maple Grove and demanded, well, not demanded. Um, she asked if there was a different date they could take, and I guess there was at the August 30th or August 29th. I forget the date, but so far that's what's happening. Is I guess I don't know. It's hard not for me not to be critical, but I guess she got worried about it and said that she's gonna call the Maple Grove Clinic and see if they have a later appointment because she didn't like the idea that AI told her there's a chance of infection. If there's no space between appointments, and apparently the 2 weeks for her really wasn't long enough. So she called Maple Grove and said, because I wasn't going to budge on the hernia surgery. She wanted me to delay the hernia surgery, and I thought, no, that's not a good idea, not the way I'm feeling. because it is kind of bothering me a little bit, but it's not bad, but it could get bad. So I kind of put emphasis on her, emphasis, however you say that word, that I'd rather have the hernia surgery fixed, and we'll deal with the back later, but I need my hernia fixed. Whether the surgeon thinks it's a good idea or not, I would like it fixed. Even though if they think it's not an emergency, well, still, I'd like it fixed. The nurse and the doctors, when I was in the hospital, said I needed to have it repaired. Uh, so I am gonna have it fixed. There's someone walking down the hall with thongs, so I'm hearing is click, 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 click. So that's kind of how my morning's been. And then I just wrote my other doctor. I have two doctors. One's um, in Baxter at the Baxter Clinic, which actually is out by Walmart, past Walmart and down the road. And the other one is on South Sixth. So I have two clinics I go to, and my doctor I'm seeing about my other problems I'm having with this bleeding and stuff. That's I go see him in Brainerd. And then for the hernia, well, actually, they're both in Brainerd. I go to South Sixth for both of them. They're both in South Sixth. And the other doctor I see, my medical doctor I see, probably for this, is actually out by Walmart in Baxter. Yeah, you've heard mess can be a problem. I don't know. I've never had it. I don't know if it'll be a problem or not. I'm just hoping it won't be. So that's all I know on that. If you guys got any questions to ask me, I guess you can ask them. I'm again kind of running out of words to say. It's nice. It is sunny outside. It's low wind because I don't see the trees. Yeah, the leaves are moving a little bit, but it wasn't like yesterday. There was a good steady wind yesterday. Yeah, John, that'd be a good concern. Um, the other concern I have, even though I most people told me it's nothing something to worry about nowadays, but staph infection that you get in the hospitals, and being that I'm going to be spending one night in the hospital, um, to ask them about that will just piss them off because that's an offense to them because it's something that the surgeons cause or the hospital itself. You can get staph infections, so I'm not gonna ask them about it because nothing happened last time. I'm sure nothing will happen this time. The only thing that the surgeon said this last time, not the coming up surgery, but the first time I had this hernia fixed, is in the surgery room. The surgeons, if there's two people being operated on, they share tools, but they're in this kind of a liquid, the disinfectant liquid or whatever. Um, that kind of spoke to me. I said, "You guys share tools? That you're?" He said, "I don't know. There's no." He said, "There's no reason to be worried about it. They put it in disinfectant, so that um, I don't know. I didn't like that idea. Well, I don't know if he'll have someone else in the surgery room with me, but um, he's gonna try it robotically. I think this will be the first robotic surgery, non-invasive surgery, um, that I'm gonna have. At least that's what he said he was gonna do. I don't know if he'll stick to that, but it'd be kind of interesting how that goes. And it's quicker, safer. At least that's what I've been told. I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous too, John, but usually surgeons will cover their bases. I mean, they're pretty good at that. I mean, I can't really say that for our hospital because our hospital has gotten into serious shenanigans with the law because they had a doctor in there or a few doctors. It was in the newspaper. I just can't remember what year, 2006, 2007, or somewhere around there. Um, they had a big lawsuit go through the hospital, and it was gunned at two doctors. And now I guess Essentia Clinic, um, the nurses are going on strike. That's not good. Not that's not good here. I don't think here in my town. Um, but I think surrounding communities probably have doctor or nurses that are going on strike. Um, that's the second time, or maybe the third. I've heard that the doctors here in my area are going on strike. Excuse me. Um, I don't know if it was just this general area, although I've heard there's a few that are local that are going on strike. Um, I rode past the hospital yesterday and I didn't see any protesting or anything. So I don't think it's for my area. It's probably either up north or down south that the nurses are striking for some reason. I didn't read into the article a lot, but it just sounds like they're unhappy with a couple of things, and the whoever controls that kind of situation didn't want to take care of it and basically told them no about something. I don't know what it was, but um, might find that article again. I'll read it, but it's almost kind of scary when you have nurses that are going on strike because the hospital or the clinic, the head honcho of either the clinic or the hospital, has decided to stop doing something or whatever the case may be. Um, that the nurses have decided to go on strike. Now, how long that lasts, I don't know. I don't know if it's still going on. Um, but yeah, that also kind of makes me nervous. That and like I said, I don't know what's for my area. I know you can go up north. There's Essentia up there. I don't think you can go down. I think in Little Falls you can, but I think that's the extent of Essentia clinics for this area. You can go about a half hour from here is where Little Falls is, and I think they have Essentia clinics and a hospital there. Um, I know they have Essentia in Pine River. They got a clinic, and I think they also have it way up in Walker. I think Essentia is, or maybe Hackensack. I haven't taken a close look at that. So whatever area it is, I didn't read to. Like I said, I didn't read into the article, but um, there's some nurses from the Essentia clinics or hospitals that are gonna go on strike for. Yeah, the last colonoscopy I had, or not the well, no, not the last, but the one I had a couple of years ago, I didn't wake up, but I don't know if the anesthesia didn't work or what. But when I woke up and I walked up out of there, I told him I was feeling everything you were doing, and he just kind of patted me on the shoulder, and said, "Good to know that." He never talked about it again. And I think, well, if they knock me out now, they knock me out hardcore. I mean, they knocked me out cold. And I had this last hernia colonoscopy I had a few years ago. I had a hard time waking up out of it. And like I said, I can't remember the car ride home or going into my apartment. I just know I was slightly coming out of it. And I was just doing things around my apartment like I normally do. It's like, what the hell am I doing? Where did I just come with? Oh, that's right. I just came from the hospital. I I couldn't remember the car ride home or anything. It's like I blacked out. Um, and I have told my doctors about it. They said that's common when you're under heavy anesthesia. You will act like you've blacked out. You won't remember the car ride home, or I don't remember getting into the elevator. I think I do remember. No, I don't remember walking into my apartment. I just know, oh, I wasn't doing things. I just woke up. I was in bed because I don't remember doing anything. I think that was the next day I was doing things, but after that, after I got home, I think I went to bed, and I woke up around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and said I had a really weird feeling in me, like, man, why am I not feeling right? And I think a half hour of that I was fine, but I had my cell phone sitting right next to me because I was gonna call the hospital and say, I know I'm coming off anesthesia, but why am I feeling as funky as I am? She'll ask me, describe funky. I I don't know. My head didn't feel right. Feel like it had electrical surges going through my head, and I felt weak. Um, I just didn't feel right. They said, "Well, just wait a couple more hours. That should wear off." And she looked at my notes of the surgery. See, they had you on a very heavy dose of whatever it is that they knock you out, propofol, or however you say that name. The same crap that killed Michael Jackson. Um, that's what they had me on. It was they had it timed perfectly. They've got little increments so they can give it to you depending on how long the surgery is. And I think because of my last complaint, when I told my other doctor that oh, I was feeling what he was doing, but it wasn't bothering me. But yet I was aware of what they were doing when I was under anesthesia and supposedly asleep. Um, it was a really weird feeling. That was kind of weird. Um, was a little bit painful, but I was under anesthesia. I couldn't wake up. Um, I've heard of other people. I've seen it on the news. This guy going through surgery, and he was knocked out with that anesthesia, whatever it is. I don't know the technical name of it. The stuff they knock you out with. And it was actually on TV that he was in agony and in serious pain while he was under word that surgery when they were cutting him open. He felt everything they were saying. He said it was the worst experience, but with his story, he was hoping that that would be avoided. And then I told my doctor, I said, "Yeah, you had me knocked out, but I was feeling everything you were doing." And they take that scope and they shove it up your um or doing whatever they were doing. I said, I felt everything. And he just kind of patted me on the shoulder. So good to know that. I think that's in my chart record. So when they knock me out, they knock me out hardcore. I won't wake up easily. And the last time I didn't. They had a hard time waking me up. And then after that, everything was blank. I don't remember any of it. So at least this time, because I called them, I told them about my experience, and they said, "Well, at least the anesthesia, that stuff worked this time." Because and I said, "Yeah, I know it worked this time. Believe me." Ugh, I don't like that feeling. I don't know. How do you guys do with surgery and when you wake up from that propofol or whatever they give you? I don't know. I have a hard time waking up from it, especially as last time. I don't know about you guys. That's why I asked it. How do you recover from that? You have any problems with it, or you do okay? Last time I had problems waking up. They were just sitting there, kind of tossing me around, like, wait, what do you do? They said, "Well, thank you. Finally, Rick, you woke up. We was sitting here for like 5 minutes trying to wake you up." Say, "Well, yeah, I'm just kind of, yeah." I was asleep again for another minute or two, and they woke me up again, and they had me sit up, And I said, you doing okay? She's like, yeah, I'm just very, very, very tired. I want to fall back to sleep. And she urged me not to. Um, that was a little scary, but at least I know the stuff worked. But yeah, John, the only reason I get that way, believe it or not, is when I feel like I'm gonna get sick. Is actually, believe it or not, is when they put the IV in my hand. It stirs up my stomach. Oh my god, that's why they don't have. That's why you have to go in with an empty stomach. Because if that happens, they that's why they tell you can't eat the day before or after midnight. That lady listens to her phone, listening to the news or whatever. But anyhow, yeah, it's that stuff they put you under with is hey Tyler, 2005, welcome. Oh, John Williams, you know what? You've been here long enough. Really, you're not gonna give me the option? Are you kidding me? Really? Oh, okay. Uh, oh, I think you are a moderator. John Williams, you're not. That is moderator. Standard moderator. Save. No, 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 don't do it. Why not? Okay, I don't know why you're telling me not. Oh, you're just kidding. Okay. Um, yeah, that's all my googly, gobbly, ugly stuff about medical stuff. I'm just gonna be stuck in this ring of medical surgery and procedures, and all of it's not fun. It's but it's gotta get done. I gotta get my hernia fixed. Um, I gotta get my back taken care of, and now that I'm bleeding out of my ass, um, then I wrote my doctor about that just before I came on the live stream, which is why I was kind of get close. I was at 2 o'clock when I finally got everything up and running, and I was trying to hurry up and type out his message, and I was looking at the clock, and it was 2:58. I'm like, damn it, I got 2 minutes, and I got stuff I got to tell him. So I went through all that, got that done, and then ran out here, got the live stream going, grabbed my tablet, grabbed my notes, and came out here, and here I am. But yeah, things are gonna be a little rough for a couple of weeks here. I don't know how this hernia surgery is gonna go this time. Um, he's the surgeon. I kind of asked him on purpose, and my mom kind of looked at me kind of funny and said, "You ever have any serious problems with people after the surgery?" My mom looked at me. It's like, "Why are you asking that?" And I looked at her without her knowing what she was thinking. I looked at her and I said, "I'm just covering my bases." She's saying, "Well, Rick, there would be," and the surgeon stopped her. He went like this. He said, "Stop." He looked at me and he said, "There normally isn't any problems, but he can't foresee the future. He can't see that I'm doing fine, but there could always be an issue, but in most cases there's no issues. Within biblical hernias or biblical, however you say that word, I can't say it. Umbilical, yeah, there we go. Um, he said it's usually really quick. He thinks he's gonna go in through my right side. He's gonna go in through my right side, go in, grab the hernia, cut it, and then come out and just put 4 or 5 stitches into my right side of my waist. Or he said, being that your hernia is pretty much in the same spot as your other one was, he'll just drill a hole. Literally, he'll drill a hole down to the hernia, grab it, and just kind of pull it out and take the roots with it, and kind of just um, I don't know what he does. There's a little bit of a procedure he does after that, but um, I don't know. This mesh thing has kind of got me concerned. Should be no problems, like um, I hope there's no issues, but as far as my ulcerative colitis, I know that's going to come up. They're going to ask me, have you ever thought about having surgery for ulcerative colitis? Um, yeah, I have. And no, I'm not. Because it's such a wide area. I mean, he has to flay me from one side all the way to the other and peel me open. Uh, he said taking things out is easy, and doing the little stitching or whatever he does, it's getting the intestines that have blown up twice their size, because they're all packed in there pretty tight, and he has to unpack them, and then they just kind of just they fly out at him and just kind of they're sitting there, and then he does whatever. He said the problem that people have, or the reason they have pain, is all the air that's introduced to my system, because he literally has to force them back in. He said that's not always an easy procedure. And he said that's why you're in the pain after that colitis surgery, is because it's not taking everything out. It's having to put everything back in and get it back into that small little pocket that your intestines sit in. Um, it's a very tight, compacted area, and he literally has to pull the intestine out where I don't know where it is, but he said it's placing everything back in and kind of getting your lower organs kind of put back into the right place, because everything kind of gets moved around, and so he has to kind of put things back in the right place. And so I've always denied the surgery. I know they're going to ask me again. They're going to say, well, I see you have ulcerative colitis. Have you considered surgery? I said, yeah, I have. And the answer was no. Okay. Refusing surgery. No, I'm not refusing. Well, I guess I am refusing surgery. I'm saying no. Um, I just, he said that's about almost, to me, hour and 40-minute surgery. And he said that's where you have the problems of having infections. There's a lot of bleeding during that surgery, so they're replenishing blood into your system as much as you lose. Um, he actually told me when I was in the hospital when I first got this diagnosis, ulcerative colitis. He actually told me you'd do better off. And I'm serious. The surgeon told me, he said you'd be better off sticking with the medication than having the surgery. You will not be happy with me after that surgery. It's very painful, and you'll be in uh, pain at about the 8+ level for about 2 to 3 weeks. But the less you move around, the less pain you'll get in. But it depends on how much you're sitting around. Yeah, I hear you, John. Um, my back does the same thing. Um, that's why I have problems surviving. Okay, it's 2:49. We got about 10 minutes. Um, that's why winters are hard for me, because, or even during the summer sometimes, if the barometric pressure or whatever changes a lot, I feel it in my lower back. So I can tell somebody, oh, it's going to be raining here in about an hour or two. They look at me and say, oh, how the hell would you know? My back and my bones are telling me. Oh, you have arthritis that bad that you said. Sure enough, an hour or so, hour and 10 minutes later, it was raining. My back and my joints and everything was telling me. It's just that feeling I was getting. It's like there's a change in the weather because after it rained, the next morning, that pain I was having gone. Now explain that to me. Yeah, my body was telling me that the weather was going to do something kind of weird. It still happens a little bit nowadays. In fact, that's probably why the other day when I think I was doing my live stream, I was starting to feel pain in my lower back. About 15 minutes after that, I looked outside and it was raining. I think that's why my back was hurting. It was telling me something's up with the weather. I just wasn't feeling right. And after about an hour after it started raining, that funky feeling I had in my body somewhere was again gone. I just tried paying attention to the pain. I just suddenly realized, oh, that's funny. I'm not feeling it anymore. I looked out the window and it was downpouring. Oh, ouch! Working at a McDonald's with a sign 50 feet high. Oh, damn, John, you're lucky to be alive. I don't know what kind of voltage you were working with, but or you're lucky you weren't blown off your platform or whatever you were standing on. And I've seen that too in movies or reality TVs. They say the one thing you shouldn't do with electricity, don't be this guy. And I saw him do something, and all of a sudden, boom, he flew off that thing about 30 feet, fell to the ground. He was rushed to the hospital and he survived it, but he was damn lucky he survived. Because I saw the sparks and everything fly, and he flying off the platform, flew for about 20, 25 feet, and then hit the ground. He did, I think, have several broken bones from hitting the ground. I think one of them was his right ankle was fractured, and something with his left shoulder wasn't right. That was scary seeing that. And they said, "This is something you don't do. Don't do what this guy's gonna do." And poof, off he went. Like, holy shit! The guy survived, but he was a lucky man. Ouch. Yeah, that's a good point, Ken. Just don't play with electricity. It if you do, you're gonna pay the price. And I didn't know the guy personally, although I'd met him a couple of times. But he was killed because he was electrocuted. It's that kind of electrocution when you grab a hold of something and it creates that electrical field or on your hands and you can't let go. Well, after about 30 seconds of him continuously getting electrocuted, his heart stopped and he kind of fell to the floor dead. I mean, his workers were watching. They didn't know what to do. There was no board, so they can grab a hold of him, kind of push him off the bars or whatever he grabbed a hold of. And so they had to. And then two of the other guys, because of what they saw, they retired. I mean, they saw the guy's skin turning colors. They said it was horrible, and I mean, the other three guys, I guess, were still working there, but they did for a while. But they'll never get that out of their head. I mean, his physical look and the color of his body changed. Um, and I guess it just continued until he died, and he just fell to the floor. Smoke coming off his body. He was dead. It was, like I can't remember. Kenneth or Kendrith or whatever his name was. Um, I think that's what his name was. He was like 40 some years old. Been on the job for like 4 years. So they're not quite sure why that accident happened. Because they knew that what he had grabbed a hold of he shouldn't have, and they thought he knew it could have been an accident. He may have just come stumbled across it by accident, but once he put his hands or laid his hands on the whatever it was, he couldn't physically let go. It grabbed a hold of him, kept a hold of him, and his whole body was shaking and his whole body turned colors. And all of a sudden he just kind of went poof and fell to the floor. That was the end of him. It was a sad day for them. Like I said, two of the workers that next day just decided to say, "That's it, I'm done." Um, After seeing a guy getting electrocuted like that, I've been electrocuted. Um, Stupidly, I don't know why. I was at my friend's house and they had a little bit of wet. Their concrete floor or something was wet, and I think my hands were wet, and I'm standing in water. My hands were wet. I grabbed a hold of a plug. I was gonna plug it in and plugged it in. Jesus. Oh, it went up my arms, went both. Oh my God. Thankfully, I just let go of the thing, but oh, I don't like the feeling of being electrocuted. I did not like that at all. That scared me. And my dad heard me kind of fussing, and it's like he heard me saying something. He said, "Ricky, you okay? What?" And he looked at me and said, "Oh my God, what happened?" I said, "I just got electrocuted." He said, "Yeah, you're standing in water. Your hands and arms are wet, and you grabbed a hold of a plug and you plugged it in." "Yeah, I thought I was grounded." "That ain't gonna stop you from getting electrocuted." "Oh, okay. Well, lesson learned. Don't be standing in water." I think I can't remember if I was wearing shoes or not. No, I can't remember, but no, that feeling going up my arm of being electrocuted. Oh my God, that hurt. Thankfully, it didn't last long. Maybe like 4 or 5 seconds, and finally, I just pulled away. Ouch! Yeah, don't get electrocuted, guys. It's not fun. Oh, hospital food. Yeah, John, I've heard that before. It's not the voltage. I heard a teacher said, and I think he said it wrong compared to what you just said. He said it's not the voltage, it's the watts that kill you. I don't know. You were saying amperage. He said watts. I don't know. It's yeah. Thankfully, mine didn't last long, and I was able to get away from it. It was only 120 watt outlet, so but still, yeah, it's not fun. Good thing you are on the harness. Yeah, you were on the harness to keep you safe, but it didn't stop you from getting electrocuted, unfortunately. Hello, RM. It's afternoon here, but good morning to you if it's morning for you, or afternoon. It is 2:59 p.m. here. 2:59. Yeah, I gotta start wrapping things up. Um, yeah, it was good talking to you guys. Um, I don't know how many of you are gonna be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock, but I do plan on doing a live stream tomorrow. Same place, same time, same thing. You guys, you know when I'll be here. It's 2 o'clock Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, I think. 3 p.m. whatever it is. I can't remember. But thank you everybody for being here. Like I said, it's been fun talking to you guys, and I know I was kind of all over the place with subjects, but that's how I am. I can't just stick to one subject. I did throw a little bit of tech news in there about the updates and 25H2 being out there. And Brightech says, yeah, you could go get 25H2. Eh, I'd hold off for a while. I think you have to be on the insiders to get it. I think that's the issue. Is if you want to be on 25H2, I'd have to go watch that Brightech video. I just read the title of it and I said, yeah, you can go get 25H2 now. I read the title and I walked away from it. I said, why would you want to be in 25H2 now? I guess if you guys want to be an insider and do all that fiddly stuff and have things go horribly wrong because Microsoft is still testing 25H2, I guess you could be a guinea pig for Microsoft, but I wouldn't recommend it. But the choice is yours. I'm not gonna say yes or no that you can or can't, but I'm not gonna. So yeah, with that, I am going to shut it down. You will everybody have a good afternoon because it is 3:01. Uh, yeah, I'll see you guys. Who's ever here tomorrow? I know I haven't. Oh, hang on. One more person I gotta add to the list here of moderators. There you go, RM. You're a moderator. Um, so yeah, that is gonna be it for today's live show. Again, thank you everybody for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye for now.